Destination could not be. I don't know what is up with LinkedIn. Yeah, you know what? Okay, so is it actually? Sorry guys, I'm fighting with my. Okay, there we go. Go live. Okay. I think that's gonna work. Let's see. Hopefully. Maybe, sort of. All right. Boo boo boo. And which screen are we looking at here? So make sure we're on the right screen. Secondary display, there we go. And this one is the almost there. Always with the technical problems. And yeah, think we're good. Think we're good. Okay, and let's move this all the way across here. All right, then let's move this over here. And let's extract the live chat window. 4 people sitting in the queue. Hey guys, how are you doing? Sorry, too many technical problems. Trying to just figure things out around here. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. We got all the pieces in place. And I just got to check one more thing and then we could sit down and chat. I swear it takes like a good hour, half an hour before you could even like get half minute set up. So this means you got to set like 5 or 6 hours before your stream just so that you could do a couple hours of streaming. Nonetheless, we are here. Thank you guys for hanging in and being patient and waiting and wondering what the hell is this guy going to be talking about today. Okay, so LinkedIn is good. YouTube is good. Instagram seems like it's doing something. Oh, okay, wrong screen. Sorry. Edit. Tertiary screen. There we go. Perfect. All right. Okay, we are cooking. Yes, go live. Yeah, cooking. There we go. Now we just gotta check the other 2 and then I think we're good to go. TWIT, sweet. Check out the Twitter, or as they call it, X these days. Come on, are we live? Yeah, look at that, we're live. Twitter works perfectly fine. Twitch works perfectly fine. It's just LinkedIn every single week. The same thing. Anyway, we're here. Thank you guys for joining in. Real-time view count. Perfect. Yes, okay. We're good. We're up and running. On all cylinders too. So, how are you guys being? How was your week? If this is your first time, is this your first time? Who this is your first time in this live? My name is Dwayne. Hi, nice to meet you. And okay, yeah. Sadia, hi, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, let's begin, shall we? We're late today. Late. First, I had to do a coffee run because I was up with my kids until about 3 a.m. And yeah, let's just say that I'm a little tired today. But nonetheless, we're here. We're here to talk about building a SaaS in 2026 from scratch. How to get your first 10 customers. So we're going to go a little bit deep in that. I asked which language are you using? Oh, did you? Okay. I'm using stuff on Cloudflare, so JavaScript primarily. But we could We could use any language that you want because the fact is the languages actually doesn't matter. What matters is where you're building. But just to give you some context, I'm a .NET developer. Been a .NET developer for a while. I'm a C Sharp. Well, C Sharp is like my primary language, but I'm a JavaScript developer as well too. Python doesn't matter. I got some. My backend is built in Go, C Sharp, and Java. Tons of JavaScript. Right, Cloudflare workers primarily right now. That's where I'm at. Mr. Attila. Or mistress, I think, whichever one. Sorry. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking a little bit of code. We're going to talk a little bit of, we're going to do a little bit of business, a little bit of code. I like to keep these sessions for anybody that's new here. I like to keep these sessions sort of like half entrepreneur, half developer. Okay, so I'm a developer, but I like to describe myself as a developer gone rogue. So half the time I have a conversation with you guys is coming from the perspective of a developer that's been in the trenches, done all of the hard work from a coding standpoint, and sort of transition into the business world. And now I spend most of my time trying to teach other developers, but also non-technical people, especially in this sort of this new vibe coding world, how to build an application and scale it. And somebody asked a question inside of here: what's Cloudflare mainly used for? The answer is everything, and that's everything from security all the way over to to building really large complex application. Probably the most popular one that I could give you is Canvas. Canva, actually the design that you're seeing on the screen was done by Canva. So Canva uses a thing called durable objects in the background to orchestrate real-time communication, real-time collaboration, that type of stuff. So Cloudflare is literally used for everything, probably with the exception of like database. It doesn't do database stuff really well. It does have a database platform, but it doesn't really focus on database. But today I'm going to make an argument as to why you should be using Cloudflare. And actually, let's highlight the topics, because I got some feedback last week from one of my famous users. Oh, I'm on C#, .NET, Java, SQL as well. Great. Then you're in the right place, man. Or girl, I don't know which one. So I'll say, when I say man, it's universal, okay? Just to be clear. So what we're going to do, I want to talk about the topics. So building your first SaaS in 2026 from scratch. Okay, so we're going to do a couple things. And just to be clear, these are very high level conversations. So it's not going to be a full tutorial. This is not a tutorial conversation. We're not trying to teach you how to write code. If you want to learn how to write code, let me do a shameless plug for my school community right off the top, because this is just what you do when you on the internet. If you want to learn how to do more in-depth stuff, join my school community. And we teach you how to do vibe coding and build real applications at scale. I just dropped that in the chat for you guys. And so from there, you can learn how to build something proper on Cloudflare. Okay, I have tons of stuff in there specifically around Cloudflare. Why you should use Cloudflare? What is Cloudflare? What is the purpose of it? Most developers don't know the benefits of Cloudflare. Most developers don't even think about Cloudflare when they're doing development. Like the things that they think about is, .NET, Java, as Atina just mentioned here, or Vercel, right? If you're in the new space, but the Cloudflare is rapidly becoming one of the best and most preferred platform to do modern development on, and I'm 100% in on it. I started a couple years ago doing Cloudflare, and by far it's one of the best things that I've ever done. So with that, we're going to jump right into a couple of things right off the top. So we're going to talk about not only how do you build an application, but we're going to talk about how do you actually get customers, because guess what? Tons of developers are out there, and here's the thing that they know how to do really well. They know how to build an application. They don't know how to actually get customers. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about that, because that's important. And then we're going to kind of shift a little bit more gears into some of the coding type stuff. But is Cloudflare open source? No, it's not. But, actually, the answer to that question is yes. The answer to that question is yes. Cloudflare, all of the stuff that Cloudflare has a platform called Hono, and it is open source, yes. Hono, that's what I'm pronouncing it a little weird. But let me just give you the quick synopsis. For $5 a month, you can do about 300,000 requests per month on Cloudflare for that $5 a month, and that will include up to 50,000 databases on it. It's insane the value that you get every week and every year. I tell people about Cloudflare and some of the benefits. And if you're a new developer, or if you're a developer and you've never looked at Cloudflare, look at Cloudflare. And if you don't know what Cloudflare is, go look at my YouTube videos about Cloudflare. And if you really want to know more, join my school community. You're welcome. Are your lives recorded? I can't stay longer, unfortunately. 100% lives are recorded. Join my school community. You could see all of them inside of there. And I have them on YouTube as well, too. My YouTube channel is Dwayne Brown. I'll drop that in the chat so you could actually find it. So there. Just joined. Hey, Mr. Emma, thanks for joining the school. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. By the way, the school is a free community, by the way, and it's a work in progress, but I'm trying to find like-minded people that want to build and scale real applications. No BS. No BS. Okay, so what are we going to do? Most SaaS businesses don't fail. This is my favorite because of code. Okay, so if you're a developer, you kind of know this already, or maybe you don't. I don't know, but one of the biggest things is that coding, I've learned this the hard way. And when I say the hard way, I've learned this the real hard way, is that when you're building an application, it's not because of a coding problem or because the technical, you have limitations. Most developers or most technical people know what they're doing from a technical standpoint. So they don't have problems building the thing. What they have problems with is figuring out who they want to actually sell to. And I'm going to go into in-depth. I'm going to talk about each one of these things and why this is super, super important, right? Because the reality is if you don't have a clear sort of persona of who you're going to be targeting and what you're going to be actually selling and the problem that you're solving for that particular customer, and come up with a systematic way of communicating and doing outreach, you will fail, period. Okay? And this is talking from experience, by the way. This is not, I'm not giving you advice that, I'm just like making up. I'm literally telling you what has happened to me. And what I'm doing is trying to teach you how not to do the same thing. Okay? So let's just be clear. Like, I just want to be real with that. Like, I'm not trying to tell you guys anything that I haven't done. So we're going to talk about consistent outreach. And we're going to talk about, too much building and hiding in the code instead of selling. If anybody is guilty of that, if there's anybody in the room here that literally, hey, Paul, work from home dad, how are you doing, man? Good to see you again. Good to see you. But yeah, if anybody here has built something, spent a whole bunch of time writing code, deep down, just neck deep in code, and didn't actually go out and try to, communicate with a customer and talk to a customer, raise your hand, because I've definitely been in that camp all day long, okay? I've done this like 100 times. For those who don't know what SaaS is, it means software as a service. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate that, man. But yeah, so yes, anybody that's here that don't know what SaaS is, not certain this is the right channel for you, but thank you for hanging out. But yes, you're right. I should actually clarify that SaaS means software as a service. Thank you for that. All right. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about finding your first 10 customers. How do you find your first 10 customers? And this is, like I said, this is a hard thing. I'm going to share you some of my overall experience with this topic, some of the challenges that I've had over the years in trying to find customers in building my own SaaS product. And we're going to talk about how do you choose the right SaaS idea, which is something that is super, super important that most people don't really understand, okay? Like, Everybody thinks that, oh, if I just build it, I'm just going to find customers. No, completely wrong. So we're going to spend some time just really digging into like what is a proper SaaS ID, software as a service, that that you can build something that you could actually sell. How do you validate it? How do you deal with the pain discovery, which basically means finding out about the customer's pain? And I'm going to share you some real stories about that. And I'm going to give you some, well, clarity, really. Next, we're going to talk about building the MVP on Cloudflare. So for the people that don't know who Cloudflare is, we're going to talk a little bit about Cloudflare. I'm going to tell you why I'm so bullish about it. Sorry, guys, I'm eating yogurt while I talk here. But I'm going to talk about why building the MVP on Cloudflare and why I think Cloudflare is the only platform that you should be building on. I know that's a very bold statement, but I'm going to back it up with real data. Don't worry, I got you. And why is the best tech stack out there, period. Okay. And just to be clear, this is guy coming from Azure, Microsoft. Like I still use those services. GCP, AWS, for any of my technical people out there, those are not acronyms, those are just companies that you're familiar with. Use them all. DigitalOcean, you name it, been there, done that, okay? I will tell you for sure why Cloudflare is by far the best platform that you should be building on, especially if you're building a SaaS application in today's world. So we're going to do that. Hey, Claudette, good to see you again. Good to see you. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do sort of a launch, ideas for how to launch your actual application, go-to-market strategy, right? Which is a big topic, by the way. So I'm not going to do these things justice. We're just going to be covering them at a very high level. But you guys feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to try to be a little bit more disciplined this week. I got some feedback from the last presentation that I did last week. And because there's so many different sort of technical, so the audience right now is made up of technical people. And hey, Yazan, there's technical people, and then there's oh, you know what? I just got an idea. I'm sorry. I wonder if this actually. Sorry, I just I just had a brain moment there for a second because I keep looking down at the chat, but I was wondering. I wonder if it actually shows up on. Yeah, it does show up there. Eh? Okay, got you. Interesting. I was just kind of curious where that was going to show. So, what was I going to say? So, yes, there is, because we have such a broad audience, we got technical people in the house. We got people that have never built any application before. We have people that are developers, right? So they've built applications, tons of applications before. And then we just got entrepreneurs that are just like curious about vibe coding in general. So it's a kind of a broad audience that we have. And as a result of that, what I really want to do is kind of give some value to some people. I won't be able to give value to everybody, okay? But I'm going to try. That's my promise to you. Hey, hello from Texas, Mr. Joe, AI Success Strategies. Welcome. Is it similar to all the content? Is it similar to all the content? Are you saying that you're asking me if this is similar to all the other stuff I've done in the past? Probably a little bit. You're going to see me repeating myself. If you're on my live, you've probably heard me repeating myself a few times. And then when I do, I keep adding new bits, throwing in new stuff, trying to give people more clarity. But yeah, okay. So let's jump right into it, shall we? All right, so let's do a little bit of poll. We got a few people in the chat, so let's start out with at least a bit of a poll, just so I can kind of understand who's in the room and who's things. So who's so we suddenly became project managers. So who's like completely non-technical? Put a 1 in the chat if you're a non-technical person. If you're just non-technical, like I'm just here just to learn some stuff. Okay, let me just see who's in the room. There's a way to do a poll here, right? But I don't know how to do that. That's very fancy for me. Is there a poll? Let me see. How do you do a poll on this thing? Oh yeah, there's a poll here. Look at that. Quick poll. Yes. Okay. Let's see if we could do this. We'll try this in 2 seconds. Quick poll. Quick poll started. Your viewers can now see. Okay, but what is a quick poll? Oh my lord. Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing. Custom poll. Maybe, okay, stop the poll. I don't know what that is. Yeah, we don't, yeah, okay. So custom poll. So how do we do it? For 3 minutes? Yeah, sure. Let's do it for, you know what, we'll do it for 20 minutes. And then standard, and then what are the questions? Oh, I see. Okay, so delete, delete. Okay, so let's do, okay, I'm trying to learn this on the fly here. We're gonna do a quick poll here. So what is your experience level? Vibe coding. VIBE. Yeah, let's try that. We're going to try to learn one thing per week. So complete beginner, BEGINNER. Oh my goodness! If it can't, if it's spelled incorrectly, just let me know. That's just my developer. Okay, entrepreneur, and then let's do just curious. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Beginner, developer, entrepreneur, just curious. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, now how do we actually launch this poll now? Let's see, delete. Okay, start. So choose this one, start. Okay, 20 minutes. Somewhere on your screen there's a poll. Never coded before. We got one person. Never coded. Don't know where don't know where I got in here. You're basically saying you don't know how you got here. Never coded, but I'm technical, if that makes sense. Yes, 100%. So you're like an IT guy, right? In the IT space. Actually, that's a good point. I should actually put that in there. But okay, we'll leave it in there for now. We'll leave it as this for now. But yeah, senior developer, technical, and entrepreneur. Nice. Don't see it. I have no idea where it is too, so don't ask me. You can just put it in the chat. All right. So I'm a web designer, front end. Okay, that's cool. That's good. So we'll leave the poll up. I have no idea where it's showing up, guys. I'm just assuming that you guys know TikTok better than I do. Okay, so just okay, we're all learning out here. Tech with no coding. Great. I'm a DevOps engineer. Okay, so we got technical people in the house, but no coding experience or limited coding experience is how we would put it. Scripts and that kind of stuff. There is no poll. Okay. Yeah, we'll standard poll, 0 votes. It says it's running, but I have no idea where it shows up. I have no idea. So don't ask me. This is something we're going to learn for another day. So we won't go too crazy with it. But yeah, nobody knows how to use TikTok. Okay, that's just, I've come to this conclusion. I can't be the only person, so I'm going to bring the whole ship down with me. Okay, but I got a good sense. The poll is at the upper left under his profile icon. Thank you, Athena, I think it is. Best at problem solving and pivoting. There we go. Great. Okay, so we got some smart people in the house, is what I would say. Okay, we got some smart people. You guys have done stuff. You guys have you guys are, understand that sort of like the technical world for the most part, like in terms of like, being able to like a vibe coding and a general application, or at least experimenting with code. Like you know how to open up Microsoft Word. Okay, I'm not trying to simplify your knowledge. I'm just saying that I don't have to teach you that stuff. Great, so that's good. We got smart people in the house, so that's good. So let's just go at a very, very high level, because I'm going to try to be very structured, well, somewhat structured with this content today, because I really want to kind of think. So we're going to talk about finding your first 10 customers. And the reason why I'm going to do this at the start is because I want to kind of give people an idea of what it takes to actually go do, like what it will take for you to build something and then go find your first customer so you can actually collect money, right? Because at the end of the day, what we care about in this conversation is about making money, all right? I'm teaching you guys a whole bunch of stuff, and it's all so that you can make money, period, all right? And I'm doing it for free, just to be clear, all right? I'm doing it for the creds. All right. So we're gonna start with customer first. So start with your customer, not code. What does this mean? Let's talk about this. Let's dissect this for a second. What does it mean? So we got a few people that are relatively technical, but they're not coding people, which is actually the ideal audience, right? So let's break that down for a second and understand why this matters, okay? Number one, if you're technical, the first thing that you're inclined to do in solving a problem is go write some code. And that is the thing that you should not be doing. And I repeat, that is the thing that you should not be doing first, okay? You do not want to write code. Why? Now, we live in an AI world. And the AI world that we live in allows you to just literally go on any website, right? Like Lovable, that's my favorite one right now. Kind of, sort of, right? I could go on Lovable, right? If you don't know what Lovable is, it's just one of the other platforms that allow you to build something. And I could say, can you build me a to-do application to help me manage my daily task list, right? That's it. I can log in, obviously. And in a minute or two, what am I logging in with? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what I'm logging in. There we go. Right? Can you build me? Got it. Opus 4.7. Got it. I think I'm still paying for this. I need to cancel my subscription. Way too many subscriptions. Right? But point is, I can do this. I can ask it to build me a to-do application and help me manage my daily tasks, and it'll just start cooking. Okay. Now we're not going to wait for this. My point is that you can just start building. This is what you should not do. I'm trying to stress this. Do not do this, especially if you try to build something to make money. Okay. Man, are you using OBS or TikTok Studio for streaming this? I'm using TikTok Studio. Why? What's going on? Talk to me. You can't see? Hopefully you can see it. It's a little, it might be a little cramped, but don't worry. I'm going to talk through every single thing that you're seeing on the screen. So you don't have to worry too much, Mr. Joe C.AI. Or Josie, whichever one. Stream is fine. Okay, good. Wow, we got a few people in the house. No, you're very good. Looks great. Oh, thank you. You scared me for a second. I thought I was doing a terrible job. So just to be clear, I'm a complete novice at this. I'm a random person on the internet that don't know any single thing about computers. And I've never done any kind of real professional streaming of any single sort. So I'm just really trial and error. Every week I come on 5 minutes before the live and I try to figure out one extra thing. And this is how I've been learning. Okay. So don't do what I do. Like, there's one of those, those, what's the commercial? The thing where they say, don't try this at home, kids. That's what this is. Hey, Dwayne, is the request for the link still available for review or is something else? No, this is for, the answer is yes, but I think what you're talking, that request for link that you're asking me for, that's for my school community. I think that's what you're asking about. If not, I think you're probably asking for a review of your app, which I'm happy to do at the end. In fact, that's something I should do every single week for somebody. We should do that live every single week. So this is my link for my school community, Dwayne.me/school. Join the school community and feel free to connect with me there and we could chat about stuff and learn about what you're working on and share your ideas, etc. Do you do AI training? I do, but I don't charge people for it or any single thing like that. And that's kind of what this is right now. But yeah, okay. We're gonna push forward because I want to stay on topic this week. I got constructive feedback last week that we're kind of all over the place. So I want to stay on topic so that at least people can get some value, and then I'm gonna focus on the chat. So what I'll try to do, here's what I'm going to try to do. This is new for me. Is I'm going to try to talk for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go back and just kind of review the chat, if that's okay with you guys. This way we could kind of get through the content, and then I could kind of batch the questions, and then I do another piece, and then batch, right? And we're just going to keep doing that iteration so we can hopefully move through things. All right, so where we are, great. So we are talking about your ID, all right? Not your code. So Do not start with code. That's the goal here. All right. So what are we going to do? The first thing is you need to figure out what is your niche, or who is it that you're actually dealing with, or what is the problem that you're actually solving for. Okay. And this might come about in a few different ways. Very, very important to understand this. If you're brand new, you've never done this before, you don't know how to run a business, you've never sold something digital to anybody before. The first thing that you really need to understand is who you're selling it to and why, right? Why would that person buy the thing from you? Like, what is the angle, the pain point, the problem that you're solving, right? So you always want to think of it in the context of problem, solution, problem, solution. The bigger the problem, the better the solution, the more money. Okay, that's how you think about it. Bigger the problem, better the solution, the more money you make. All right. So now there's a caveat to that, because you also have to figure out how to sell the solution, right? But we're going to skip that step for this conversation, and we're just going to talk about the problem and the solution. Okay. So let me give you an example. All right. Most people in today's world, are so busy, like just busy, right? If you're in North America, you know what I'm talking about. If you're anywhere in the world for that matter, but specifically in North America, you're just busy, right? You wake up in the morning, you prepare your breakfast or whatever it is, then you go to work, and then you leave work, and then you come home, and then you're just you're in traffic, and like it's just on and on and on and on, and then you're at work, and it's just like email after email after email, and communication and meetings and this and that. It's just on and on and on. Okay, and it just gets too hectic. So there's 100 different solutions on the market to kind of solve this problem. It's called to-do list organizing, right? Project management tool to help you keep managing your schedule, your et cetera, et cetera. Everybody knows this, right? What's the problem with these tools? Number one, there's 100 of them on the market. Number two is that they solve your problem, but they don't really solve your problem. So what ended up happening is there's like 100 different to-do list tools on the market to help you organize and keep yourself in check, and make sure that you can keep all the things that you have to do in your brain out of your brain, right? Like all this kind of stuff. The problem with it is that it's a commodity, right? It's a commodity. So you cannot build a to-do app today and charge like $1 million. Okay, not that you would do that for almost any app, but my point is I'm trying to make an exaggerated point. Okay, a to-do app is a very generic thing that exists. There's 100 different ways to build a to-do app, including going to the dollar store or something and just buying a notebook and writing your to-do list. Like, you're competing with every single thing. So that idea is so overdone and commoditized that nobody will pay you any kind of proper money to build a to-do app, right? Period. Right? Unless you have some very, very unique angle. And even if you do have a unique angle, it's going to be copied instantly. So this is what I mean by finding your niche. That is not a niche. That is like a broad problem that everybody solves. However, on the flip side, okay, actually, we have one guy in here. What was his name? Work from home dad, I think it is, if you're still in here. So we have one of our users that's maybe or maybe not watching, that he is a manager of some sort. I don't know the full details, but I'm giving you the high level. A manager that deals with veterinary clinics, that manages a bunch of veterinary clinics. I don't know how many, like a few hundred veterinary clinics, right? And as a result, has industry knowledge about vets and the problems that they might potentially have. And in that problem, one of the things that we talked about on a couple live stream ago was the fact that these veterinary clinics, the owners of the vets, are busy servicing the dogs or the animal or cat or whatever it is that they're servicing. And one of the biggest problems is that they don't have time to answer the phone and book appointments and follow up with people, etc. Right? So that is something that is more specific, very niche, and is a very specific problem, right? It's vets that don't have time to answer the phone, to do follow-ups and book meetings. So obviously they have assistants that deal with all this type of stuff, but the assistants is busy trying to help the customers that are in the office. So they still don't have the time to answer the phone. So you can build a proper AI tool that could basically help to do answering the calls and following up to book appointments and remind people about about that call and confirm that they're still going to show up for their meeting. This is an example, okay? My point is that it's very specific. It's to vets and it's to business owners. So when I'm doing my marketing, I could go hyper niche. I could say my app helps veterinary clinics owners, business owners, deal with appointment setting and handling the backlog communication that end up with following up with each customer to make sure that they're going to show up. Okay, that's a long-winded way of saying I help vets reduce the amount of time on the phone following up with their clients. That would be the simple way to describe it. Okay, so that's what I mean by finding your niche. You have to have a niche and you have to really drill down. Okay, so now let's talk about how you're going to find your niche, because this is important. Like, you understand that, well, I can't be broad, right? Like a to-do list application. I have to be more specific, like a veterinary business owner communication problem. How do you find those niche? It literally boils down to, one, if you're in a very niche industry, that's probably a good sign that you're like at least barking up the right tree. But more importantly, it has to do with you being in a position to talk to people that have very specific problems, right? So generally speaking, your niche will fall around the industry or whatever you're working in, right? We got a couple of people in here that were DevOps, so that would be the place to go if you're in DevOps. There's tons of problems around like shipping software or securing, the office environment or whatever it is. Like there's tons of problems around there. So you really need to think about your niche. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people believe that once you find your niche and you talk to people and you figured out the problem, that you can, there's already like 100 tools in the market, so I can't, it doesn't make sense for me to build a tool for this market. And here's the thing. The truth is, like, there's never enough tools, is how I'll say it, if that makes sense. What do I mean by that? So every person on this earth has a unique perspective. And even though there's two exact tools that look the same and they do almost exactly the same thing, they could be marketed completely different. Okay? So yesterday, I'll give you a real world example of this. Yesterday, I was watching a guy that was doing sales online. Really, really cool guy. Maybe I'll show you his YouTube video. And he was just doing sales online. But the tool that he was using to do sales does research, like research for companies, etc. And this is the niche that the company, the tool that he was selling, this is what it does. It helps, what was the acronym that they were using? Doesn't matter. It helps government people that sell to government businesses with finding RFPs, requests for proposals, and helping them with using AI to basically fast track the process of being able to figure out when they could send an RFP. Okay, that's a really complicated like detail, but let me explain it very simply. The companies that they were selling to literally sell to government workers. That's all they do. They sell to government. And if you know any single thing about the government and the industry, what happens is the government basically says, hey guys, we're going to build some roads here, and we want to basically get bids from different vendors to figure out which company we're going to use to build the road. That's kind of how it works, okay? And these companies have to bid. The problem is that if you don't know when the request for proposal, that's what it's called, a request for proposal, when that happens, or when the government is going to send out a request for proposal, or maybe they have a contract that might be expiring soon, maybe the road has to be renewed every 5 years or something, and they're going to ask for a new request for proposal. If you don't know that timing sequence, you could just be missing every government contract. So this software, all it does, it basically monitors government websites to figure out when these proposals are coming up, when they're going to expire, and then notify you, the human being and the person that's looking for these government contracts, so you could figure out when when is the right time to send out a request for proposal, RFP. That's it. That's what it does. Now it uses AI and a whole bunch of stuff, but that's a hyper niche industry, right? People that sell to government that need help digging through all of the crazy, crappy government website so that they could sell to government. That's it. That's what the software does. So that's what I mean by niche. Okay, you have to niche. Now, the way how you're going to figure out whether there's actually a product or not is you literally going to talk to people. And what do I mean by that? Like literally I'm talking about pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Veterinary Clinic owner, can you just help me? I'm just doing a survey on, this industry to try to understand what are some of the problems that you might have as a business owner. And literally just ask the question. Like that's it. You just ask the questions so that you could understand what problems they have. And then you would write those down and you would do that like 10 or 15 more times, ideally 50, so that you could validate that there's an actual trend. Because when you talk to 50 people, you're going to recognize very clearly that there's a trend. And once you figure that trend out, then you can move forward, right? Hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of like a really, really long-winded way of saying it. You got to do research. Somebody put that in chat. Research is important. Okay? So yeah. Your niche is super, super important. You can't stress that enough, right? And I got here, most founders skip the step 1 to 4 and jump straight to building. That's how you end up with a polished product with no one asking for it, right? Like nobody's asking for these features that you're building. Wrong way to build your product. All right, so we talked about this a little bit, how to find your actual first 10 customers, okay? First, you're gonna pick a niche. We talked about that, okay? Then you're gonna basically start conversations. And I mean, pick up the phone, literally call people and start talking to them and just learn from what problems it is that they're facing, maybe in your sector, right? So you can have a proper conversation with them. Once you understand what the problems are, then you could start to in the next level, which is basically start figuring things out a little bit more. Okay, so hang on a second. I'm just double checking that my streams are doing what they're supposed to be doing without me. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, great. Fantastic. We're cooking. Right, so now that we got that, everybody with me? You guys are with me? Following? Give me a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. If it was too long-winded, if it was helpful, or you already know this. Yeah? Okay, fantastic. I got a 1. Great. By the way, the 1s help me to kind of understand if you guys are actually getting it. Okay, so appreciate that. And if you do like what I'm saying, you can do the heart thing on the TikTok, the heart. Yeah, it's a heart. Yes, heart on TikTok. Yes. Thumbs up on YouTube. Okay, great. So now do you understand that, right? So again, so to make sure everybody's clear, like this is not a complicated thing. All right. When I started this, I'm gonna tell you guys a story because I like stories, and stories help me to help people to understand the world in a different way. Because I could preach a whole bunch of formal lingo jargon to you guys, but the truth is nobody learns like that, right? All right, so let me tell you my personal story on how I figured out about niches and how to deal with niches. Okay, I'm a technical person. I've been a website developer all my life. Website designer, not even developer, just a website designer. Okay. Most of the money that I made in my early days, in my early career, if you could call it that, was just building websites. That's it. I was just building websites. All day long, I would just build websites. And for any of my OGs in the room, Joomla, right? If you know anything about Joomla, I've done it. If you know anything about Drupal, I've done it. WordPress, well, WordPress is still around today. So yeah, those tools are still around. They're just not as popular these days. PHP, I've done it, right? So build a ton of websites. And then we got to a point in my business where I started realizing that I need more help finding more customers. Okay. So this is around 2010 era, somewhere around there. So I hired a salesperson. Excuse me. Hired a salesperson. And she just randomly started calling people, right? all different types of businesses. We got our list. We bought the list, by the way, from this was in Toronto. So we bought the list, a directory, and we just called every single person on that list. And she was doing the work of doing this. And one day she called me. She's like, hey, I got a guy that is interested in, he's looking for a software. I was like, what kind of software? Is he looking for software to help him run his business? Okay, tell me more. Well, the software, basically, they wanted to, he's a garage door company and they just need to kind of like manage their business a little bit better. I was like, okay, forward, whatever. We'll meet with him. We don't, like, I'm not selling software. I'm selling websites, but this guy needs a software. So yeah, let's talk and see what we could do. And I've built software in the past before. So sure enough, I met with the guy and he had this Excel spreadsheet. All right. The Excel spreadsheet was literally that. It was this whole business running on a spreadsheet. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, this is a little bit risky. How long has this business been around? Business been around for about 13 years. Huh, interesting. Do you have any backup of this spreadsheet? Nope, just that computer right there. I was like, dude, what happens if this building, heaven forbid, burns down? He was like, yeah, we'd be in really big trouble. I was like, you think? Right? And I couldn't make this up. This guy was running his business for 13 years, 1-3. I'm not making this up. For 13 years, he was doing this. And at the time when I met him, this is how, like, okay, you know what? Let's make this interactive. I want you to put in the chat how much money you think he was making per month running his business off of a spreadsheet. Just put a number, any number that you think per month. I'm doing them per month. The whole business was running on a spreadsheet. Every day, this is how, and just to get you to understand how much they were doing. Okay, they have the spreadsheet, and they would go out and do garage doors, and then every day they would basically check off what work they did, and then they would copy it, put it into a brand new sheet, and then they would start the next day, and they would keep doing that, and they were doing this for 13 years. Okay, put how much money you think they were making per month in the chat. I want to see another number. Okay, so I got $5,000 per month. I got $8,000 per month. I got $30,000 per month. Give me another number. I want one more person. Give me another number. Just make a guess. $10,000 per month. Okay, Simon on YouTube. $29,000 per month. Okay. Ready for this? Sit down. All right? Because this is going to blow your mind. He was making, from this spreadsheet, $250,000. $250,000 from a spreadsheet. Hey, Simon, by the way, good to see you again, man. It's been a while. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. This guy was he was repairing garage doors. Okay, I was like, man, I'm in the wrong business. Okay, here I am killing myself building websites. This guy's out there repairing garage doors. And just to be clear, I'm not downplaying that you don't have to have skills to repair garage doors. Okay, I don't know anything about garage. If my garage door broke right now, I'd be calling that guy because I don't know a thing about garage doors. $250,000 per month, and that was his average. Okay, now to kind of fast track the story a little bit, when we left him, okay, he went from $250,000 to over 1.6 million, somewhere around there, per month in revenue with our software, because we built the software for him. So that's the level you understand the leverage that we end up doing for him. So I'm kind of giving away the story, but my point is that if you find your niche and you find a very specific industry or to solve a very specific problem, you can make money. Okay, we charged that kid, he wasn't a kid at the time, he was older than me, but we charged him $10,000 to build the first version of the software. Just $10,000. I was like, you know what? We're gonna take your Excel spreadsheet and we're gonna build you just a replicate of it, because that's all they understood at the time. So we didn't want to vary it too much from what they had. So we just built a better version of Excel online. And then slowly, once he understood the power and the concept and he tested it, he started adding more features. And that project moved from a $10,000 a month project for us to $500,000 a month for me. So not per month, sorry, over the course of 3 years. So it ended up we just kept scaling and kept building and building and building, right? So hopefully you guys understand that I'm trying to make sure you understand or impress upon you the need to find niches. Okay. And where can you find niches? Some of the niches that you guys like wouldn't even think about, and these are the industries that I'm thinking about right now. For example, the manufacturing industry, like unbelievable amount of money just sitting in the manufacturing industry. The people that are doing manufacturing, the people that are sort of in the supply chain, sort of midway in the supply chain, where they're like making like, I don't know, a bolt for a car, right? Like every car has a bolt and they're just sitting inside of there, like very, very niche, right? Or they're making like an obscure, some sort of gear. Like I'm just kind of give you an example. There's all types of industries, or people that are doing like some sort of chemicals, right? To, I don't know, make computer monitors. I'm just making this stuff up. I don't know anything about chemicals. My point is, if you find a niche, you market to that one specific niche. And all we did after we figured out that this garage door was a thing, I didn't even know anything about garage doors back then because I didn't have a house or anything. We just started selling to garage doors. That's it. Okay. Just garage door companies. We was like, hey, we built this for this garage door company. Do you want us to build this for you? We could sell it for you at a much cheaper price because that guy already paid for it. So we could just sell it, right? Like that's how you find a niche and you narrow your efforts down. Okay. With what month? Yeah. Okay. I'm just checking the comments here. When you said garage door, I knew it was more money. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Listen, the guys in the contractor space, they make a ton of money. And just to be clear, let me just back up for a second here. Okay. That business is the business that I run today. Okay. Just so you guys know. Okay. Like I still run that business today. It's just a completely different business from what it was. I don't charge $10,000 a month. I just charge $350 per month, $550 per month, and $950 per month per customer. Right? We don't even charge per user. We just charge based on the volume of work that goes through our system. So just so you know, that is actually my bread and butter today. That's literally what I built. Now I'm building tools to sell this business, right? But just want you guys to know that's literally the product has completely changed. It's a completely rewritten product. I've now done, geez, how many versions? I'd say at least 8 versions, at minimum, 8 different versions of this software. Okay. But once I understood the concept, I learned the business from the founder, from the owner of this company, and I understood how it actually, like how the industry works. Once I got all those pieces, like I can't unlearn that. And so I just doubled down on that industry. Okay. And that's basically where I am today. Now I have other businesses, but my point is that's my core business. Okay, so with that, all right, so let's move forward. So now that we understand that we got to pick a niche, right? That's what I mean by niche. And then you have to find the repeat pain, right? So this is super important, right? And follow up consistently. So we learn a lot from our customers to scale. Yes, 100%, 100%. All right, so niche, can't go wrong. All right. So we talked about the 2 broad already. Actually, they're talking about HVAC owners inside of here, which is very specific, right? Plumbing companies using spreadsheet plus QuickBooks, right? Recruiters doing manual outbound follow-up, sorry. Project manager, these are all like ideas of like specific niches, right? Property managers coordinating contracts or contractors or agencies losing leads between channels, right? So you have to be niche. And when you go on the internet, you're only talking to one person, right? Who's my audience right now? Like who's in this sort of chat, this live chat right now? It's basically either IT professionals or technical people that are looking to build businesses, right? That's my sort of core niche. And then there's, like adjacent sort of what do you call it? Adjacent sort of like niches attached to it. But I'm only talking to one person, the person that wants to get into the business of SaaS development and building a career out of making money from this industry with vibe coding tools. So we already talked about this, right? Your network, where to find the niche companies, right? Warm network. So literally the place that you work, there's tons of problems to be solved. There are tons and tons of problems. Actually, I'll give you guys one more, because this one here is what got me into this industry in a different way. I'll explain what I mean by that in a sec. So when I first came to Canada, so I'm in Canada, I'm in Toronto. Shout out to all my Canadians in the house and my Americans, and the world. Let's just okay. So when I first came to Canada, like years ago now, 20 years ago. Jeez, I'm getting old. Again, doing a website development, learning how to do web development, etc., learning how to code. And the company I was working for was an actual IT company. So it was like a tech company more than a developer company. They just happened to have some developers, and I was kind of like hanging in between. I knew nothing, okay? I knew absolutely nothing. These people were just a godsend, just helping me to like navigate this whole world. Because I didn't go to school for programming. I'm just a self-taught developer, and I knew nothing. Anyway, convinced them to give me a job, and they did. And I was a junior developer, and I was just helping out. Okay, so here I am helping out, putting things together, trying to learn stuff. And one day, the owner of the company came to me, and she's like, you know what? I'm going to put you on a task. I'm going to get you to build this software so that we can basically manage your contracts. I was like, okay. I was like, what's the problem? What do you want me to do? Like, I don't know any single thing about any of this space, but they're like, listen, this is a problem for Dwayne. Why did they give me the problem? Because it was one of those things that nobody wanted to deal with. So let me explain what the problem was. And this is explanation of what I'm talking about, niche software. So the problem is this. The company is an IT company, and they work with Bell if you're in Canada, or T-Mobile if you're in the US, or AT&T, right? The network companies. That's what they do. They work with these networking companies. And every single time, they would provide backup services for like supermarkets and furniture stores and all the big sort of like retail stores in Canada and the US. Okay, that's what they did. All right, doesn't matter the details. I'm just kind of giving you some perspective. And so every single time they had to do this, they had to do a bunch of paperwork, as you know, right? Tons of lawyer involved, tons of this, tons of back and forth. And one of the biggest problems that they had was that they never knew what is the latest document, because the documents always kept changing. And you're like, well, this is a super simple problem. Just put every single thing in a file server, or in the modern world. This is in 2004, by the way, okay? So this is a long time ago. Okay, cloud wasn't the cloud that we know it today. But so they had a shared drive, and they would put the latest document on it. The problem is, not everybody went to the shared drive to pull the latest document, because they would have one locally on their computer. So they would just open that one and just sort of use it, right? Today's world, we have like modern sync system that will automatically sync with Microsoft Word and yada, yada, yada. But back then we didn't have this. So I'll just give you guys some, making sure that we understand the problem. So what did they do? They tasked me with creating a program that was literally, you could just open it up and you just click all of the different services that you wanted. And it would be responsible for going in the background and pulling the different documents from all the different locations, and then stitching it together and giving the user one document. That was the problem. And I spent, I kid you not, months working on this. I'm a junior developer. I've never worked on automating Microsoft Word before. And back then, automating Microsoft Word was really hard to do. And there was literally like one book on the internet that showed me how, like, had the details of how to do this properly. And Microsoft was just transitioning from what they call a binary system to a XML system. For those that are non-technical, just know that it was just a lot of technical details, okay? My point is, this was a really, really hard problem for me at the time as a developer to solve. Probably still is a hard problem for me to solve today. But I spent the time and I learned it, or whatever the deal is. And that core, the engine that I wrote, I became what I will call an expert in writing document generation systems for Microsoft Word. Okay? Because there was not enough tutorials out there. So I just had to figure it out. And I just became really, really good at it. And fast forward to this day, I don't know, 20 years later, that engine, the core of that engine is still in my product today. Literally, it literally is responsible for generating documents on my server to this day. Okay, so I'm just giving you an idea of how those knowledge kind of transfer. But my point is, this was such a niche problem and a niche set of issues to resolve. And what made it interesting was that it was a small problem at scale. Right? The reason why they had this problem to begin with is because they were a growing company. They had about 50 or 60 different staff, and it was just a nightmare every single time to be able to maintain consistency on the documents. Okay, super, super niche, super hyper specific. But had I turned that into a product, I could go sell it to all the IT companies. You get the idea, right? So that's what I mean by niche product. Stream duration exceeded. Stream Dwayne Brown stop. Continue without Dwayne Brown. Sure. I think that's Instagram. Yeah, something like that. Who knows? All right. People are still around, I think. So I've belabored this conversation, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands that you have to pick something that's really, really niche, that has a very specific set of problems to solve for. Right. You could find the communities. Tons of these communities are on Reddit. Okay. You go to Reddit, you could find these problems. I don't need to teach you guys how to use Reddit, but it's really, really thing. All right. Let's talk about, I'm going to kind of gloss over this because I don't want to go too much details in this one here, but really just the idea about making a call, right? Or making an actual cold call. There's so many technical people. I want to stress this. One of the best skills that you could learn is how to pick up the phone and talk to a random stranger. Period. Okay? I'm going to repeat it. One of the best skills that you can learn is how to pick up the phone and talk to a random stranger. We live in a world where people don't pick up the phone. Okay? I'm the opposite. I don't text people. Period. Okay? Like, even my wife literally will message me, and then she'll come home and she'll be like, oh, hey, I sent you a text like 4 or 5 hours ago, like early this morning. Didn't you get it? I was like, oh no, I didn't. All my text messages they're just off, like no notifications at all. Okay. If I don't actively pick up my phone and look at it, no text communication. And I do that for a reason, obviously, because it's distracting when I'm doing work, etc. But more importantly, I just get overwhelmed by the amount of people that just text me. So I actually prefer if you call me, but don't call me when I'm working because I won't pick up either. Okay. I'm OCD when it comes to this stuff. But the point is this: if you don't pick up the phone or learn how to pick up the phone and dial numbers, this is going to be one of the biggest sort of like handicap that you will have in business. And I learned this the hard way because I've always avoided the phone, and I've always refused to like just pick up the phone and talk to random people. And I didn't realize the power of it until like very late. And I say very late, like last year, and I'm still learning it. Okay. So, but you need to learn how to pick up the phone and just ask questions, like literally just ask questions. You will be surprised at how much information you can get from somebody by just being polite and just asking general questions about an industry or problem. And it's very simple. Hey, John, how's it going? Just got a quick question for you. This will take 20 seconds. Don't want to waste your time. Right? The reason I'm speaking with you is my team is dealing with scheduling mess. I've been speaking with HVAC teams dealing with scheduling mess. This is obviously specific to scheduling, right? Do you have that handled, right? Do you have that problem? I'm just curious. Why? Well, I'm just doing a survey just to understand like what are some of the biggest problems that people in your space are having. That's it. I don't want to waste your time. Maybe now is not the right time to have the conversation, but if you don't mind, is it possible I could call you back and get some more details? Or if you got 5 minutes or 2 minutes, if you want to give me just a quick overview, that would be great, right? Like you give them an out, but you also kind of push for information. People will just talk to you. Like there's so many people that are sitting at their computer so bored, okay? Because they're just, probably not an HVAC engineer because they're out on the field literally trying to get things done. But people in the office, they're bored out of their minds, okay? They'll happily talk to you. So do it, okay? Challenge yourself to do it. And at first, it's going to be the most awkward thing that you could possibly do. But if you could do it right, you will actually make and learn so much from doing that process. So, Don't expect every call to close. Okay, just to be clear, this is one of the things you have to learn how to be able to handle objections and rejections. Super important, because people will just hang up on you. People will tell you, don't ever call back here again. They'll take me off your list, you blah 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 blah, right? And you'll take it personal. It's a numbers game. Just keep calling. Just keep calling. Okay. And in the future, I'm actually going to try to do some live calls. I'm going to figure out how to do that so I could show you guys in real time how I'm doing it. And that's why I'm building Lead Score, by the way, my other SaaS application. So again, won't go into too much details here because I want to push on the other topics, but do outreach, Reddit, LinkedIn, message people, right? Just go on their profile and just message them, just ask them a question, right? Now, don't ask them stupid questions that you could just Google, but ask them something very specific to their niche that you want to learn to understand about that problem that they're having, and then people are willing to teach. People love to talk. Right, that's why I'm on here. I'm just talking. I'm just rambling, hoping that somebody listens to me. Right. Okay. Track your outreach. Super important. Right. Don't have to say that, but I gotta say it anyway. You gotta track your outreach. Who did you call? What did you talk to them about? What are the pain points? What are the problems? What are the things that that was important to them? What's the things that's not important to them? Right. Right, like talk to them, and you have to store it in some sort of organized way. In the simplest way, store it in a spreadsheet, but move up from there. But you have to do that. Okay, now you build the right sales ID. So we're kind of transitioning right now. Okay, we're transitioning. So let me back up a little bit just to make sure that everybody's kind of with me and not falling asleep here. All right. Oh, did our to-do list application get built? Let's see. What did it build? Built a mini to-do app preview details. Okay, did it build anything? No, it just stopped. Oh, add your task list. What's done today? Today I'm gonna do a meeting in the morning. I'm gonna do a live stream in the afternoon, and then I'll do a sort of a customer support task list. Let's see what it actually does. Oh, you have to do one at a time. Okay, fair enough. Whatever. Anyway, point is, right? This to-do application was built in 5, whatever, however long that was. I don't know. I wasn't keeping track. Right? So building is not the problem. We know this already. All right. So what are you going to do when you start to build? Right? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to really, really do the absolute bare minimum. Okay. Sorry, trying to keep myself awake here. So product conversations become meaningful, strong SaaS ID, right? So you're going to hear the repeat pain points, right? You're going to figure out what are the things that are like they care about, absolutely important. And then you're going to use that to basically figure out the priority of what you're going to be working on, all right? Okay, so we're going to switch over gears now. We're going to talk a little bit about tech stack and we go, but I just want to make sure everybody understand. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat. We're gonna do a little bit of sort of like, let's do a minute of like Q&A. Let's call it Q&A. Just in case anybody got any questions specifically around like IDs. Is this clear? Let's start with that. Is this clear? Does everybody get why you need to pick a niche and how you pick a niche? Put a 1 in the chat if you do. Just so at least I know people are still with me, and if people are at least understanding the importance. Fantastic. Great. Okay. Appreciate that. So thank you. So now you know your niche, okay? But let's just be clear. Knowing your niche does not mean that they will buy from you, okay? Excuse me. Just want to be clear with that, because it's kind of it's one thing to know your niche. It's another thing for your niche to buy from you. Does that make sense, right? Like, let me put it in a way that everybody understands. Everybody has dealt in some shape or form with dating. I presume everybody here is over 19. I hope. If you're not, that's fine. You'll get there someday. Matter of fact, the kids are dating at like super early these days. So I don't even know what the age is these days for dating. But anyway, I digress. If you're dating somebody, right? I don't know, Tinder or whatever app you're using, Bumble or Humble, whatever. I don't even know the apps today. Okay, a dating app of some sorts. What's your first thing, right? Everybody on that app is looking for somebody. So you're at least in the right position. So right, like you have a problem, I have a problem. But it doesn't mean that the problem that I'm trying to solve, you want me to solve, right? Like if that makes any sense, right? So it's like a stupid example, but really and truly, if I break it down for you, you'll see it's the same thing, okay? Which is, right? Like I'm a man, so I'm gonna go from the male perspective. I'm looking to date some woman of some sort, okay? So what am I doing? What's my problem? I'm looking for companionship. What's the woman's problem? She's looking for, a handsome guy or whatever, right? Or companionship, whatever the other person on the other side is looking for. So I swipe and I swipe and I swipe. And what I'm really doing, right, is trying to say, hey, I got a problem. I want to help you with your problem. And the other person is basically doing the exact same thing on the opposite side. And our problems have to match up, right? It needs to match up just so that we could even go on a date. And then when we're on the date, now I have to evaluate, is my problem, aka the things that I care about in the world, matching up with your problem, the things that you care about in the world? And if they don't, then we got an incompatibility problem and we just go our separate ways, right? So you're always doing this comparison to figure things out, and it's absolutely the same thing in the software world, right? What you're really doing is you have a problem, you figured out that there's a niche of somebody else have a problem, and you're trying to literally match up your solution with their problem to see if you have a right fit. And if you don't market it properly, this is where marketing really, really comes into play. If you don't figure out how to market that problem to your potential customer, niche customer, you literally you'll just be incompatible the whole time, right? And you'll just be, even though your problem is 100% the solution for that person, if they are not seeing it because your communication is terrible, you're done. I repeat, you are done. Okay. So the communication becomes super, super important here. And the marketing, but the marketing really is to understand the empathy. In other words, understand their problem so that you could basically sympathize with it and basically show them how your solution can help, right? Like that's kind of the key to marketing. And there's 100 different ways to do that. I don't have to go into the details, right? You could DM, you could talk to people, you could really just like get them to test your product, but you have to do that. So the biggest way, the number one way that I'll tell you that you have to figure this out, and that at least you can get the right signs to figure out if you could go on a date, right? Using that analogy again, even though it's a broken analogy, is a waiting list. Okay? A waiting list. What do I mean by that for the people that are uninitiated to waiting lists? Okay? It's very simple. You've now talked to your audience and you figured out that they do have a problem. Yes, great. So you build a fake product page. And I say fake product page. A product page that basically highlights all of the benefits of your solution and the desired outcome, right? Whatever the outcome is that your solution will give to that user after they use your product, right? So you build a landing page, and a landing page is very simple. It's just a page with a title, description, the problem and the solution, aka the desired outcome that you want that person to have, name and email address, because you're literally just saying, hey, I know you have a problem. I have a solution. Let's see if it's the right fit, right? This is the Tinder swipe, right? If we're gonna keep burying that analogy or butchering that analogy. So you're just swiping. And the way how you put up your waiting list, and you literally just go on the internet, go to Reddit, go to Facebook groups, go to TikTok, and you just start talking about that thing. Literally, you just start talking about that thing and hope that there's people who are going to keep coming into your world willing to listen to you about that problem. And if you do that and you get enough of those people, you literally have found at least some form of market fit, right? It's not product market fit, but at least you've attracted and can show that there's some sort of interest in this problem. And then once you do that, then you got to double down on it, right? So that's kind of the thought process. And I won't go into too much details on that because we're going to try to start shifting gears into the technical part of things. But I really want to just make sure that we kind of get that. You haven't built the product. All you're doing is just doing the Tinder swipe. And if you could get that right, you can at least build things. So let me give you some real world example of that, because I told you guys I'm building stuff and I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not BSing you. So this year I decided I wanted to build a consumer app. All my apps that I normally build are normally B2B, business to business. And this time I wanted to build a consumer app. What is the app that I want to build? Well, I want to build expense tracking system. And yes, I know there's 100 different expense tracking system online. This one's different. Why is it different? Because I built it. That's the only reason. All right. So if you go to this app right now, it's called Affordly, Affordly, as in, can you afford this? And the tagline is track your money, get out of debt. Okay, that's kind of the main mission. Okay, everybody knows, if you go into school and whatever case, you got a whole bunch of debt. If you're in North America, you have debt. Okay, it's just how North America works. Okay, so anybody that tells me that they're not in debt, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you're just wealthy and you just came from a wealthy family or whatever. But for the most part, 90% of North Americans, they're in debt of some sort. So that's what this app is about. It's about tracking your money, but it's also about helping you to get out of debt and helping you to come up with a plan to do this. All right. And I built this app and it's not launched in the App Store. There's no, you can't actually go to the App Store and download it as yet. So I built a proof of concept. It's just a PWA, progressive web app. It's just a website that you can go to, that you could think that looks like a mobile app that you could install on your phone. And when you click on start for free, I got a video here that shows you how to use it. And then I click on try the app. It takes you over and you could basically just sign in and start using it. I don't even have Apple as yet. You could only log in with Google. But this was my way of trying to figure out if people were going to be interested in this product or not. And then what did I do next? Is I posted one, I'm not even making this up. I posted one TikTok video that I then reposted on YouTube and as a YouTube short and Instagram reel. And I think I don't know how many customers we have in it, but I think we got about 15 users in the platform right now. Not a lot, but just enough for me to see, okay, people are interested in this. Now, why are they interested? They've seen me a couple times online. They know I know about Cloudflare and stuff like that. So they kind of trust me. So they just think. Now, outside of that, I have not done any other marketing. What I'm doing with those 15 customers, or at least what I plan to do, is really just, I have a form inside of there that asks for more feedback. So people go in there, they use the platform and they run into problems and they literally just put in their problem in the feedback form and they send it to me. And I use that as my to-do list, because what I'm basically doing is getting real-time feedback from these people to figure out what the real problems are, what the things that they care about, go build those features, and then go back to them and say, hey, I built these features for you. Would you be interested in upgrading to a paid version, as an example, right? So this is the way that you kind of sort of gradually, progressively, one, put up a waiting list page, get feedback early from interested buyers, aka swipe right, I think. And then from there, right, start getting feedback to figure out what is the true list of features that you want to actually build out based on real world feedback, right? Hopefully I'm making sense for you guys. Okay, let's see what we got in the chat here. So don't brand it lightly for a certain client. No. Do more of a generic push. Yeah, 100%. Now, okay, there's kind of a little caveat there. I'm gonna come back to this question here. Let me see what else we got in the chat, and then I'll kind of get on there. So, what's your lead gen platform about? How does AI fit in? Okay, got that. What's up, sir? Hey, Mr. FoundryIQ.app. Good to see you again. And what's the URL again? So this is the URL for which one? Affordly. Yes, probably that one. So affordly.app. Okay, there we go. No, this one here. Affordly. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So this is the URL, right? Brand new app, just getting launched, started. And just to be clear, I built this because my wife and I, we had a spreadsheet that we would use, and we never keep it up to date. We started the starting of the year, like everybody else, making your New Year's resolution, and then that's it. We're done. Like we disappear and then we get to the end of the year and we're like, man, our budget really did not go as planned. So, well, you'd think you never actually went back to the budgeting tool to keep it up to date. And that just happens to us every year. We've been doing that for 7 years, and that's basically what happened. And I've tried every single budgeting tool. I'm not making this up. I started with Mint way back in the day, and then I went to YNAB, which is yet another budgeting tool or something like that. Then I did Pocketsmith, which was an Australian company. Then I tried Xero, which is another Australian company, or New Zealand, I think. Then I did QuickBooks. Like, I tried it all, and I kept running into all kinds of weird issues, especially being in Canada also. There's some nuances. I was like, you know what? I'm done. This year I'm building my own, and I'm solving it in a very different way. One of the biggest frustrations that I have, I'm not selling this tool right now, but I'm just giving you the idea why I built it, is just managing the subscriptions, right? Which just keeps piling up. I'm not making this up. I did a check last month, and I have about $2,400 in subscriptions, monthly subscription. 2 of them, I'm not making this up, I swear on my life, 2 of them, because of this tool, okay, it literally went through, and it was like, hey, you've had this subscription since XYZ. I was like 3 years ago. My son that I got 1 kid, and he is now just turned 4, end of March. We're in April now, so last month. He turned 4 last month, and I still have 2 Amazon Kids subscription. Not 1, I have 2 Amazon Kids subscription from when he was born. My kid has not used any of those subscriptions since. And they're just on my card, and I don't pay attention to it, and they're just charging me I was like $30 or some craziness per month. Every single month. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I need a way to solve this problem in a way that makes sense. And I could think. And I just in using the tool and having it review, because it's using AI in the background to kind of help me review my subscription, I found $500 worth of subscription that I could just eliminate just by just going through it. And just, so anyway, I'm not trying to sell the tool, but I'm just saying, and actually I am trying to sell the tool in some way. Go sign up for it if you do need it, and give me some feedback. But more importantly, I was able to click one button, send it to my wife, and it had a properly formatted AI email to say, hey wife, name, right? Here are all the problems of subscriptions, and I could save us $500 a month. And she's happy, I'm happy, right? Happy wife, happy life, right? So you get the idea. And the point is that that's why I'm building this tool, because it solves some real problems for me, and I know other people have this problem. And I plan to just keep it very, very, very cheap. $1 per month. That's it. All right, at maximum. So with that, link for the community. Right, gonna get you that. Link for the community, DwayneNademi /school. Thank you for asking, by the way. So yeah, so listen, good afternoon, family. Can we build something as a group together? Or maybe, you know what, I've gotten this question multiple times. I think Simon has even asked for this multiple times as well too. I'm reluctant to do it for a couple of reasons, because one is I suffer from ADD and I probably would start it and haven't finished it. I started one and I haven't actually finished it in the school community, so there's that. But I'll consider it. Your idea has been requested multiple times, so I might actually get that. What else we got inside it? Oh right, gotta go back to these questions. I kind of missed it. So don't brand it lightly for a certain client. Do more generic push. So yeah, 100%. So here's okay. There's a caveat here. When you're starting out, you're only talking to one. Okay, you're only talking to one. I want to stress this very clearly. It has nothing to do with branding. It has to do with how you're solving the problem. So I'll tell you my experience with this exact question that you're asking, Claudia. when I started out, one of the biggest problems that I had was I would try to take the problem from the customer, make it into a generic problem, and then solve for the genericness of it. That's because I'm a developer. So I think like a developer, which means that I abstract problems, right? So I get the problem, understand the core, and then abstract it away. I used to hate because a lot of my developers that I had at the time, they were very narrow focus minded. So they would just go solve the one problem for the one customer. And then 2 days later, the customer would come back with a slightly different problem and the entire application breaks, right? That just drove me nuts. Generally speaking, really good developers learn how they know how to abstract problems. Or if you're C# or Java, you're familiar with interfaces and all this type of stuff. And if you're doing that kind of stuff, you understand the definition of abstraction. So it's super important, yes. But the problem is that sometimes you have to build an MVP version that's kind of a throwaway. What do I mean by that? Like you build like the crappiest version of it that's very, very hyper focused on the problem for the customer. And then from there, figure out what the problems are, and then they build a real application. Now, in today's world, you could kind of do a little bit of hybrid, and that's what I try to do. But to be honest with you, to this day, I still am guilty of making things too generic. And because I've been doing this for so long now, when a customer comes with me with a very small problem, I turn it into a really large problem very fast. Because I've seen variations of this and I don't want to go solve this one customer problem anymore. I want to solve for the entire industry. And the truth is, I ended up sometimes in problems as a result of that. So my advice to you is, yes, you market at a very broad level, but you market to a very specific niche, right? Like this tool is for IT professionals in finance industry, right? Like you see how specific I am, right? Or this tool is for veterinary clinics in Northern Ontario, or right? I'm in Ontario, so that's right. Like hyper specific, okay? Or what's another example? This software is for developers trying to build vibe coding apps. I'm just right. And then when you're building the actual tool, you'll be learning from your first customer. Your first customer is going to teach you the problems that you really want to solve for. And then you're just going to go back and try to solve that. You could try to keep it as generic, but don't go too generic, right? Because your first version of your software is a throwaway. No matter how good you think it is, it's always going to be a throwaway. It's just the nature of software. So yes, to your question, right now, in today's world, an MVP is more like an MVL, MLV. Did I get that right? Oh my goodness. Minimum lovable product, MLP, right? So what is because the bar keeps going up. Why is the bar going up? Because we live in an AI world, and people's appreciation for how would I say this? In the past, I could do like, okay, let me give you a real example because I'm struggling with how to frame it. Okay. The software tool that I explained earlier, which is a Microsoft Word tool that generates document, it literally just opens up Microsoft Word, inputs a whole bunch of placeholder, replace a bunch of placeholder text, converts the document to PDF, and then uploads it to my server. That's what it does. It's a super simple tool. It's literally a console application. Okay. Today is a little more sophisticated, but back then that's what it was. That was a really, really novel thing back then. In today's world, you're like, okay, so it just saves a file as a PDF. Like, what's the big deal, right? Like, so the bar for quality software development, it keeps going up because as human beings, we just become like, we just expect certain things, right? So, going back to my Affordly app as an example, I don't have a downloadable version yet. I do have a version in beta, just to be clear, but in terms of the public, I don't have a public version of a downloaded App Store version and a Google Play Store version. But yet, most people that ask me, they're like, where's the link? And then I send them a web link and they're like, well, how do I download it? Because they don't know how to download it, right? So you end up in this weird situation where sometimes you might try to oh no, I need to build it perfectly. I need to get it in the App Store and the Apple Store and all that kind of stuff. And anybody that's ever done any kind of mobile development know that it just takes a really long time to get things properly approved in the App Store. So in the meantime, between now and that time, you just lose out on learning from your customers. So you want to build enough of a product that people will still use it in the rough format that it's in. Okay. And then even if they'll drop off, they'll tell you why, or at least you would need to ask them why. And maybe it might take you a year from now to get those features that they asked for. But whenever you get those features, you best believe you need to go back to them and say, hey, you left my tool because of this feature. I built it now. Do you want to try it again? Is that something of interest to you? I'd be given to give you another 3 months for free, right? Like, to see if that problem is still a problem for them and if the thing, and some of them might come back, some of them might just lose interest and move to another thing. But the point is, that's what you do, right? Is there's this try to experiment. But you're gonna find in any market, you will find enough people. If you do the work, there's a little bit of work that you have to do to keep reaching out to more people, because you're gonna keep getting in the industry what we call churn, CHURN, right? You're going to keep losing customers, so you need to keep bringing in customers. But if you do that enough times, you will find there's a certain amount of customers that will stay even if the tool is crappy. They'll just stay because it's doing some things good. Maybe out of 10 things, it's doing like 6 of them okay, and 4 of them is just terrible at. But the 6 of them, it's okay enough that they're now willing to jump to another tool and have to relearn something new. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, MVP, yes. I have a saying, start messy, just start. Yes, 100%, just start, aka just do it, the Nike slogan. Yes, you're 100% right about that. What else we got here? My past experience of trying to make the product perfect has slowed me down. 100%. I'm guilty of that as well too. It does slow you down. It always slows you down. And you never ever get to full completion. What's a good MVP? Build this first. Login authentication. You need that. So we could talk about that, but for the most part, better auth is your way to go for an MVP. Okay. I want to be clear with this. There's a difference between I have MVP application here. When you try to log in here, it's logging in with Better Auth. Okay, if you guys don't know Better Auth, it's a login provider. BETT Better Auth, BETTER-auth. Okay, they keep making their website keeps going crazier and crazier every time I see it. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what I'm using now. Am I going to use this here for shipping this to production? Probably not, because Better Auth doesn't have proper enterprise level features yet. Now I say that with an asterisk, because if you notice, there's an enterprise level tab here, and they're building out these features really, really fast. But the things that I'm looking for, they don't have as yet. Okay, but for an MVP, that's what I did. Built it out really fast. And I shouldn't say that. There's a couple of things that they just don't have, but they're working on. So login authentication, you need that for sure. Core records and data model. Yes, you kind of need to be able to kind of at least figure things out. Now with AI, you could just tell AI the problem and then go from there. One main workflow end to end. So this is the key here, okay? Your app can't do 10 things really bad. It needs to do one thing really well. Okay, just one thing really well. Simple dashboard, a billing with Stripe, or at least some sort of integration. Some people use oh my goodness, lemon squeezy, is it called lemony? Oh my goodness, forgotten the name. Anyway, and then it's support path. Okay, let me give you a really good example of this what do you call one main workflow end to end. Okay, there's a tool. I've talked about this tool before. It's called subsonar.ai. This guy I met on a forum on Reddit when I was trying to figure out how to find customers, and he had this tool. He said, hey, build this tool here if you guys want to check it out. And this is an example of a tool that does one thing really well. It's not trying to solve the problems that I'm trying to solve for. It's trying to just solve one problem really well. And it's literally this. You put in your website in this tool, and it will review your website. In fact, let's just do it. It'll review your website. So let's go with SnapSuite, my company, right? It's going to review your website. Highly recommend you guys check it out and sign up for it. And I don't have any affiliation with them, just to be clear. But it will review your website, figure out what is it that you're selling, and then it goes on Reddit and it finds people that are talking about that problem so that you don't have to hunt them down. It literally just helps you to find those people faster. And it's just, you'll see, you'll just go on Reddit, it'll go looking for people, and it just allows you to find them significantly faster. And this is by far one of the best tools that I've seen as an example of a vibe coded application that does one thing really well. That's it. Its only job is to go find posts on Reddit that thing. So if you notice here, it's looking for /entrepreneurs, /business owners, /HVAC, plumbers, electricians, trades, field service, contractors, commercial. That's all the tool does. But I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool tool. Now you contrast that to my tool, and I'm literally going to give myself crap here. Okay. I have a tool called getleadscore.ai. It literally helps you to turn leads into sales faster. What is it trying to do? Everything. It's trying to be a CRM. It's trying to be a pipeline management tool. It's trying to be an email management tool. It's trying to be a LinkedIn outreach tool. It's trying to be a mass email tool. It's trying to do every single thing. But this is a me problem, okay? I tend to overly complex things, but it's only because I have experience over the years and I figure out all the problems that I don't want to have to deal with across multiple different software, and I'm just building that. And I know that there's a lot of people on the market that needs this type of level of complexity. So, but that's a different problem. Don't do what I'm doing, please, okay? I promise you, you will fail, all right? What this guy is doing is the right thing. One tool, one problem. That's it. One price point. There's a free price point and there's a pro price point. And if you want more, you could probably pay for more, but that's it. It's search. You can get 10 searches per day. It'll find you 10 leads or search per day. And then it gives you 10 subreddit. And that's it. You sign up, you pay. I don't know what the pricing is. I think it's $49 or something like that. You'll see in a bit, it'll show me some actual Reddit forums that that he'll find leads from. Okay, so yeah, I see I got it now. Focus, focus, focus. Yes, 100%. That's a very good way to put it. Focus, focus, focus. All right. So don't try to solve 100 different things. One thing. I'm always surprised. And by the way, this guy here, I think he crossed the 20,000 a month mark on his tool in like 5 months or something like that. And the way how he solved it, he just went on Reddit every day and just messaged people, telling them about the tool using his tool, which is genius, right? You're using the tool to find the tool, right? To find the problem, to tell people about the tool. Like that's the best way to do it, because you're eating your own dog food, if you're familiar with that phrasing, right? So focus is the key. All right, let's move forward. All right. Who's getting value? You guys are understanding it? Focus, focus, focus. Charlotte, Colette gets it. Okay. I'm gonna take a what do you call it? Value. Great. I'm happy to hear that, Charlotte. My wife accused me of eating all these cheese because they're for her work. And I'm like, listen, I'm on live all day long. I'm working. So, okay. Taking a 2-minute snack break. Okay. Where are we at? Sell the workflow, not the software. This is another one that people get caught up on. What does that mean? Sell the workflow, not the software. So it turns out, and I'm guilty of this, by the way. I want to be clear with this. I'm going to take a step back for a second. It turns out that when you're selling, right? Let me read it. I've been doing these, but most of them are free trials. I use on Replit. Do you have other websites? Do I have? I've been. Let me just make sure I get the question right. I've been doing these, but most of the time are free trials. I use on Replit. Do you have other websites? You mean other recommendations of websites to use to build your application? Is that what you're asking, Mr. Timesy? Do you have other websites or for vibe coding? Oh yes, yeah, 100%. So yeah, well, I mean, there's a list, but the ones that I'll give you off the top, Lovable for sure. Lovable is okay. It's not the best. Okay. The way that I would recommend that you know what? Let me just do this because I'm going to try to stay on topic here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to send you over to my thing, and then I'll give you a 2-second answer. Okay. I have a YouTube video. I haven't been posting much on my YouTube, but I do have some videos here that would help you out. And it's a short one. It'll give you at least the idea. Where is it? Now we got to find it. Latest videos. Is it this one? Okay, now I'm losing my mind here. It's somewhere in here. Anyway, I'll find it for you. But what I want you to do is actually it's on my TikTok. Let me go to TikTok. It'll show you exactly the path, and then it's a shorter video as well. So on my TikTok, I have a video. It's one of my profile. Let me send it to you. I'll send it to you right now before because I don't want to forget. It's this one here. Nope, nope, not that. No, that's my live. It's this one here. Yeah. So this one here will kind of give you a little bit, this sort of like a thing. Don't watch it right now. Watch my live, but it'll give you sort of an idea. But the answer to your question is Google Stitch. Okay, Google Stitch is the main one. So I use Google Stitch for doing design, and then I'll turn Google Stitch into either, depending on how much I want to go, then I'll turn it into AI Studio. AI Studio, because I think AI Studio is actually underrated right now. Google AI Studio, and then from AI Studio, I'll go to bring it down to VS Code, Visual Studio, or Cursor, or any single thing they use, and then go from there. That's kind of like the tool of choice for me right now. But if you want to just like a quick sort of high level, I tend to use Lovable because I like their design language a lot. It's pretty good, right? If you want to get more obscure on that topic, Bolt.new is pretty good, and V0 is pretty good. V0. Okay, I'll just drop those inside of there, so at least you kind of know about them, but won't really talk about them too much. All right, but V0 is pretty good. I love V0 for the design aspect of things. This is one of my early tools. In fact, 90% of the applications I built in the early days were V0. This is from Vercel. Okay, so just yeah. Okay, let's move forward. Because I want to keep on topic, try to keep people on track. Yeah, okay, so let's talk about this a little because this is kind of an important thing. What about Bloom? I don't know Bloom, actually. I haven't actually used it. There's so many of these tools already, but I'm realizing that I don't need to keep track of all of them. Bloom, API, AI. So I actually don't know these guys at all. Okay, lots of these tools now, what's happening is they're basically just new wrappers, just given slightly, different things. And, in this particular, flip business intelligence application into intelligence business. Yeah, so what they're trying to do is really specialize in a very specific niche. I don't use a lot of these tools because of the fact that I'm kind of a developer. So what I'm trying to do is get a UI like at a very, very rapid pace, and then bring it down to an actual real developer level and start iterating on that particular front. So for that reason, I wouldn't even use a tool like that. I would just basically just use the front end that's good at front end and then bring it down to the developer level. All right. So yeah. But okay. So where were we on the topic of go to market, sell your work order? Claudia said this is what she does as well too. Great. Let's talk about this one because this is kind of this is the trap that developers fall into. Okay, and I'm guilty of this. I want to be clear. Every single thing I'm telling you guys on this live, I've been 100% guilty of. So yeah. Go to market. Sell the workflow, not the software. This is super important. It's very subtle, but I'm going to explain what I mean by that. Sell the workflow, not the software. All right. So again, I tell you guys, I like to have proof. I like to show you proof, okay? Because I'm not BSing you on stuff, okay? By the way, this is Sabrina girl. Every time I see her, she is very good. Okay, if you really want to know somebody that's doing proper vibe coding stuff, go watch her stream. Not when my stream is on, but go watch it afterwards. Okay. So here's the deal. Let me show you guys this. Okay, I've been doing sales for a while. And I'm going to show you proof, not because I'm trying to brag, but because I'm trying to make a point here. Okay. So one of the things that I do is I used to record all of my Zoom lives. And then because I know someday my computer is going to crash and I'm going to lose all my information, which it did, even though I have backups and all kinds of stuff, I still couldn't find it. So I have lives, and then I have recorded those lives, and I put them up, and I have it in a channel called, they're private, but I have them in a channel called, where is it? Come on. Oh, you know what I have to do? Where is it? Oh, it's here. Hang on. It's right here. Internal. Where is it? Snapsuite updates. Oh, come on. It's here. Sales training. There we go. I have a playlist called sales training. Internal. This is private stuff. Okay. So I'm not trying to sell you guys this or show you guys this. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. All my videos, you see here, look at this, 43 videos, sales training. YouTube actually got rid of a bunch of my sales calls and stuff, okay? But I have tons of them. Okay? Most of them, you know, they work out, they turn into businesses, and some of them didn't, okay? Doesn't matter what the thing. I'm trying to show you something. Let me see if YouTube is actually going to load this. Let's see, because these are like obscure type stuff that it probably. Let me see. I'm curious to see if it loads it, because now it probably has to go find it in its archive. Yeah. Anyway, what's the point I'm trying to make here? Why am I showing you the fact that I have all these ridiculous amount of sales call? Okay, all of these calls are me doing presentation with people, and some of it are like, you know, an hour long, hour and a half, etc., etc. And one of the problems that I discovered over time is that what I was really doing, and this is what I learned you don't do, okay? You don't sell the software. And that's what I was trying to do every time I jump on the calls. So people would ask me, oh, do you have this feature that does this niche thing, that does this thing? And I'm like, oh, yeah, we could do it. You click here and you click here and you click here, then it does this, and then it'll open up this web page, and then you'll see a pop-up, and then if you click on this here, right? And then they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. What about this thing here? Do you have this feature that if you connect it to QuickBooks, and then you could think, and then you could get this sort of, and I'm like, oh, yeah, look at this, check this out. Okay, right? And I would keep going on and on and on and on every single time, right? And people would just sit there and they would just watch, and they would be like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And then I'd call them up the next day or a week later and be like, hey, you know, I did that presentation with you. Just want to know, how did it go? Like, did you like the software? Like, are you interested in buying? They were like, no. Yeah, no, not interested. This is not something I'm interested in right now. Okay, why? What was the reasoning? And some of them would give you a reason, some of them wouldn't. They were like, yeah, no, I don't think it has the right features for me. Right? We've gotten that so many different times. And over time, just purely by brute force, and I do mean brute force because I have 43 calls on that thing. I probably had about, at one point, 250 of them in that channel, and YouTube keep deleting them because it has private information, even though it's a private video. It has private information, and they are like, you know, phone numbers and stuff. And so YouTube, like a year later or 2 years later, would just delete it, like just randomly. So I'm down to 43. However, that's not the point. The point is this. I kept doing this over and over and over, trying to show all these different features. And then every single time I didn't have a feature, I would tell the person, oh, we don't have that right now. And then I would try to go off and build it. and then try to come back to call and show them, hey, we built that feature that you're asking for. Now do you want to sign the deal? Now, how about now? How about now? How about now? Right? Here's another feature. How about now? And I recognized that this was a problem because it was a chasing white rabbits is what I'd like to describe it. Alice in Wonderland, just going down the rabbit hole, just consistently keep chasing features after features after feature. And what was really happening is we were becoming like, we were trying to compete with like a Fortune 500 company that had like 1 million features, and they want it all for the same price. I was like, no, you can't do that. So I've learned over the years that you cannot sell software features. You have to sell the workflow. So what does that mean, right? People will buy the outcome, okay? Not the architecture, not the features, the outcome. So at a high level, when you're doing sales and you're having a conversation with them, what you're basically doing is selling them the vision of the software, okay? Now, when they buy onto it, that vision has to match to some degree, but you don't have to have it too closely aligned, because you could always say, yes, that's coming soon. Yes, but that's coming soon. Yes, but we're working on this right now. Yeah, actually, we just launched this, right? Like you can kind of frame things like that so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Now, you also have to be good enough to be able to back things up. But my point is, don't try to sell the world. Focus on the one thing that this software does and sell that. So if somebody comes on a call and they're like, hey, do you have these 10 items? You say, no, this software only does this one thing, but it does it really well. Do you want to buy this? Because it's going to save you this amount of time or X amount of money, right? You're always saving time or money. If you know, then software is not for you. Maybe in a year, I could check back with you. Is that okay? Right? And you just focus on that one thing and you sell the one workflow that's going to give that one outcome or two outcome or however many. And that's it. That's all we go. Hopefully you guys have gotten that point, because I've done this and I've done it the hard way and it's a real problem. All right. Okay, just to kind of wrap things up here, right? You do the outreach, you find the pain by talking to customers, you build an MVP. Yeah, that is a problem. It is a problem. Build an MVP, right? You basically get some feedback from your customers, real usage from them. Then you basically take that, you turn it into sort of like proper to-do lists, and you also turn it into content. You get early feedbacks, early wins. You try to get people to get you testimonials. You turn that into content, push it out on TikTok, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Bring it into, and then you keep going through that cycle over and over. All right. So okay, let me do a shameless plug here, which is if you go to my Vibe Coding community, I'm working on, I say working on because I got people inside of here and I haven't actually posted much inside of here in a while, but I am actively working on trying to get you a 90-day roadmap, which is going to work you through the entire process from end to end. All right. So join the community if you haven't already. And yeah, let's go talk some technical stuff, shall we? We're all the way down at the bottom end, but we're gonna try to see if we could blaze through a couple of technical things. I used your idea for the CRM last week. How can I share it with you? Through the Vibe Coding community, sir. Through the Vibe Coding community. Jump in there, send it to me, and I could look at it, and we could give you my feedback, and we could even record a video about it so that you could hopefully help other people. What's going on with this? I don't know, my some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay, we'll skip this part here. I'll go through the thing. So this is actually okay. We can talk about this a little bit. Three things that SaaS, three things the best SaaS founders do well: stay close to the pain, right? Talk to customers on a regular basis. Never lose touch with what they're actually asking for or struggling with. You know what? This is such an underrated statement. I'm going to double click on it for 2 minutes because I have a real example this week that I did. So I had a customer, again, for my SaaS business, my startup, that I signed on a year ago, about a year and a couple months, 4 or 5 months ago. And I know better. Now, to be fair, yeah, we signed them on a year ago and promised them that we're going to deliver some features, let's call it in April of last year, 2025. And April came, which was a month from the time that we promised it, and we didn't deliver. May came, June, July came, August came, September came, right? The whole year passed and we still didn't deliver those features. And to be honest with you, we couldn't have delivered it at the time. I didn't know it at the time, but we had a bunch of problems, issues, infrastructure issues that we needed to solve for. So it took me way longer than expected to solve them. Okay, whatever. Fast forward this year, the coupler, I'm like, for sure we're losing this customer. I promise you, in my head, I was like, we're going to lose this customer. We're going to lose this customer. We're going to lose this customer. And we just couldn't keep up with the features. But fast forward, somehow we managed to get through the entire list of all the problems that we were having in from an infrastructure server perspective. It has to do with scalability and stuff like that. Doesn't really matter the problem. So now we get to a place where I had a conversation with a customer this week. I'm talking about this week, okay? And they sat down, and by this time we had released like all the features that they asked for last year. We released every single one of them. And then I sat down with them this week and they started telling me the problems that they're having. Because I was like, hey guys, I know we didn't deliver for you guys last year. However, we're in a much better position this year and I want to understand what are the problems that you're having. Okay? And they start rattling out problems that they're having right now. And I kept listening and listening and listening. And then I looked at my list and I was like, wait, hang on. We have that feature. We have that feature. We did that 5 months ago. The app that you're on is 5 months old. Like none of the features that we were building for the last 6 months, they have used at all. At all. They just didn't know about it. They didn't discover it. They never clicked on the button. Like it just, whatever the reason, they never used the feature. So I'm telling you this story to say this statement about stay close to the pain, because it turns out that the customer was having the exact pain that we had already solved for, but because we weren't talking to the customers to show them how to use the actual product itself, they never actually used it. And then when we were showing them on the call, they were so royally surprised that we had this stuff, like completely shocked. So great founders not only build great products, but they stay close to the pain, aka they talk to customers. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. You have to keep talking to your customers. It's not okay for you to just talk to your customers once a year. You got to consistently keep talking to the customers all the time in order to keep understanding what the problems are that they're having. And then you go build very small, useful sort of workflows that solve individual problems, all right? Now, again, I put the asterisk here because I'm guilty of trying to abstract problems and build really large, complex systems. It's just how I think about things, okay? So I just want to put that with an asterisk there. So yeah. Talk to customers, ship product. We talk about this. Okay. We're in slide hell here. I want to move forward a little bit, but I'm just trying to make sure that everything. Okay, so let's do this now. We're gonna take a little bit of time here. I always like butcher my time. But I wanted to do one thing here. I wanted to talk about Cloudflare. They had a couple of people that was on the chat. Actually, you know what? On the chat, who's talking about Cloudflare? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Who's currently on Cloudflare? Put a 1 in the chat if you're on Cloudflare right now. Put a 0 if you're not on Cloudflare. And when I say on Cloudflare, I'm not talking about domain name. I'm talking like you have code executing on Cloudflare. 1 in the chat if you have code actually executing on Cloudflare right now. And if you're not, I'm curious. Where is my and then the next question I'm gonna ask you guys, which I'm curious about. So we got 1. Anybody else on Cloudflare? Who else is on Cloudflare? 1 if you're on Cloudflare, 0 if you're not on Cloudflare. 1 on Cloudflare. All right. So, who's on Vercel? Anybody on Vercel? Curious. Nobody on Vercel? No, nobody on Vercel, eh? Have I managed to convince all my followers to move to Cloudflare? If I haven't, what are you building these days, Simon? Kind of curious. This is the chart I'm looking for. This one here. Remember, I'm also a Netlify. Oh, right. Yes, you're Netlify moving over to Cloudflare. Yes, I remember you. Yes, I do remember that. How is the migration going? So you know what I want to do? I want to, on the back half, I promised myself to do this more often because I don't do enough of this in the community. And this is the truth. I'm still struggling with my time and commitments and the community. So I'm being real with you guys. It's been a struggle to keep the community sort of like going and active and every single thing. But I'm on the free stupid thing this way. Is that the reason why? Yeah, probably why. I haven't made up my mind about Myros yet. Slow, but still developing 2 apps and 1 website. Got you. Now, have you actually been able to? What do you want? Are you on Node? Like, what is your tech stack? Is Node? Is it? If you're on Netlify, you're probably Node is probably your backend. But I'm just kind of like, have you gotten the backend or at least some code to actually work in actual Cloudflare without any issues? Oh, you know what? You're probably running into you're using Postgres, aren't you? So if you're using Postgres, you're going to need, which I don't know if I mentioned or if I talked about, but I'm just bringing it up just in case. You're going to use Cloudflare Hyperdrive. Are you familiar with this? HY Cloudflare Hyperdrive. Yes, you're gonna need this. Only moved 1 element from GitHub to Cloudflare. Got you. Okay. So just a heads up, any single thing that you need to connect with database, you're gonna need this Hyperdrive thing. Okay. This is gonna allow you to connect to any of the database. The backend databases on the backend, and the reason for it is because Cloudflare is global. You can't have all of the workers connecting to your database because you're going to flood your database. So you have to kind of channel all of the requests to one centralized point and have that one centralized point manage the database connection. That's what a hyperdrive is. So just keep that in mind because there's a little bit of, it's not a lot of complexity, but it does add an extra layer that you kind of have to think about, right? See here. So connection, hyperdrive, connection, SQL, right? So what shall we do? You know what? Let's do this because there's not a lot of extra time. I'm going to try to shift gears a little bit. Let's do a review. Who wants to bring up a website that we could look at, talk about it for the last few minutes that we have? Send me the app that you're building so we can take a little look at it and thing. First person wins. How about? And I actually want to try and do this more regular on a regular basis. Pick one person, drop their app in, and let's do it. Let's do a live thing. Oh, there we go. We got one here. Mitsu. Okay, so let me just write it out here. I got to do it on offline, so just make sure it's not another R-rated website. MUSIMBI.shop. E-commerce? Let's see. Okay, I can tell you're not on Cloudflare because it's taking a while to load. Okay, it came up. There we go. Discover German used toy car parts. We call German marketplace for best deals for you. Ship to you in Ghana. Interesting. Very interesting. So obviously a Ghana market. So from German? Okay, so what can I find here? Is it because you can, I'm curious as to how, like, is it because you can import from Germany? Like, at a fairly past. This is interesting. Okay, so hang on. This is actually kind of cool. Okay, let's do. What do we want to find? Let's find. What do I want from Germany? Fine. Let's just do the BMW. Right. BMW. So okay. So tell me how it works on the back end. Like, what are you doing? What does the infrastructure look like here? Why is it asking me to? If I click on it, I have to log in. Interesting. Okay, so that's probably the biggest red flag right off the top. So let's do this. BMW. Let's do that again. BMW. By the way, the website itself is very clear at the very top. Discover German use furniture tool and tools. The only thing I'll say right off the top is, okay, it's like it actually has all of the information. But had I not read this very small thing here, shipped to you in Ghana, I would just assume that this is just a product that I could buy anywhere. But what you're basically telling me is that this is not for everybody. In other words, me living in Canada, I can't use this. This is very specific to people in Ghana. Is that a fair assessment? And if that's the case, then you want to have the niche highlighted very clearly, right? So it would be, let me see if I can rephrase this correctly. This might be butchering it a little bit, but I just want to give you the concept, right? It would be like, oh my goodness, Ghana use Ghanans. Is that how you would say it? Ghanans? I don't know how you would say the plural of Ghanas, like people that are from Ghana. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here, but I'm just going to butcher it and say Ghanans. Okay, Ghanans find Ghanans find oh my goodness, why am I struggling with this? Hang on a second. Okay, hang on. We got to get ChatGPT in here to help me out. Basically, can you turn this into a call to action that's hyper focused on the industry that it's trying to serve? Jeez, this is why we got ChatGPT. Okay, so because it's for Ghana, but it's you need to make that more clear at the start, right? So here we go. Okay, so we searched German marketplace for best. No, this is crappy. And ship them to you directly in Ghana. Find used marketplace from Germany, delivered to Ghana. Okay, a little bit better. Find quality, use furniture from Germany, delivered to Ghana. Yes, right? So so any single thing along that lines, delivered to Ghana, Germany, from Germany, right? So it's like this. Right? So this stays in the heading. The very first line, this Ghana here is literally your niche, so it has to be in the headline, right? Because if you don't do that, if I come to this, right, I might read this. This is where my eyes will go. I'll read this and I'll obviously this is still here, but the problem is that it's kind of secondary, and that's actually not the case. It's actually the first thing. It's very important that this market that you're going after. I'd probably put a Ghana flag or something, right? Like just at the top here or somewhere, right? So it's very clear that the minute I get there, I know who this is for. It's not for the world. It's not for Canadians. It's not for Americans. It's for the people in Ghana. And I can instantly identify with that, right? Okay, great. So we got that. Then we're going to do BMW. So let's do that. Common questions. How long does it take to ship, etc.? Right? Yeah. Okay. So we got all that stuff. That's fantastic. This is great. Every single thing here is fantastic. By the way, the stars and the local market partners in Ghana. But I probably put their logos if they had any logos. But that it might just be a local shop, so it might not have a logo. But, so if they don't, maybe just put the picture of the front of the business, just so it looks more local, right? Because it still feels a bit sort of like internationally sterile is probably the word I'd use to describe it. However, I do a search. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. So I do a search. Great, like UI, fantastic. Okay, what's not clear right now is that if I click on this, I have to log in to see more details. That's not very clear to me right now. So what's happened is I look at this and I'm like, oh, I'm interested. And then I see this thing. I was like, oh, why is it asking me for a login? This doesn't make any sense. There's nothing here that explains this. So let me show you a kind of a better way to do this. So this is not a perfect example, but it'll give you some ideas. Okay. So where is it? Okay. So this is a real estate website that, again, was vibe coded, and it's for see here, New York real estate. So it's very clear that it's for New York real estate. Like there's no mismatch about that. Now, I don't necessarily like this in here, but it's like the unfair advantage in New York real estate. Okay, fine, whatever. If I come down here, look at this. See, it's showing me members only, very clear. So I can see something, but it tells me very clear that I have to click on it to get into the website. And now it shows me membership subscription, right? So you probably don't want it to be, because I think what you're trying to do is accomplish that. Go back here. Where's yours? Oh my goodness. Did I lose it? Really? Oh my goodness. I lost the website. Let's do this. So backup. Is it back? Really? Wow. Okay, hang on. Got to type that again. Mom. Oh my goodness. Totally forgot to. No. Okay. Now I got to go. What was it? MU. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So what you want to do, BMW, right, is you want to either do that overlay kind of like this here, where you can kind of see that it's membership only, or I would even do one better. I would allow you to click into it so you could actually get to the details, and I would blur a bunch of stuff that is not necessarily relevant or that I want people to sign up for. So on the inside page, I would have two pages. I'd have a public details page and I'd have a private details page. And the public details page gives you maybe just a tiny bit more information, show you how long it would take to get to, like an estimate or something, and then basically say if you want more details or inquiry or something like that, then sign up. All right. So that because it's very jarring when I click on this here and it just pops up this login, and I was like, what's going on here? Why is this happening? Right. Otherwise, though, you do, this is the right thing, and you have the GHS, which is obviously Ghana's currency. That's fantastic. So at least it's very clear. It's in the language, and then I think there's something here because it keeps pushing me to thing. So I guess I'm curious, like, how are you pulling this information? Are you scraping this information, or are you pulling it from an API? What is this? And I'm curious to know what is the currency in Ghana? I'm just curious. I learned so much when I'm on these calls. XE.com, Ghana currency. So if I do $1 US to Ghana, GHAN. What is Ghana? GHANA. How do you, geez, am I going crazy? GHANA. 1 Canadian. Okay. So it's, Ghanaian? Is that right? Am I, I don't recognize. This is how ignorant I am. Okay. I just don't know. Is that right? Is Ghanaian currency? So, yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. I'm just going crazy. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. So, okay, great. So that's too funny. So sorry. What was the conversion? So Ghanaian. Okay, there we go. This guy here. So points. Okay, so you're okay. Hang on a second. Am I going crazy? So what's $100 in? Start workout. Okay, so 1 to 10. Okay, 10 to 1 basically. Okay, that's pretty good. 100 US, 10 to $1,000 basically. So, okay, so now that gives me some perspective on what these numbers are. Got it. This is pretty cool, man. Do you have any so if I log in, what do I get? I guess is the question. So we crawl government marketplace, find the best deals, ship to you in Ghana, verified, inspected Persian parts, secure payments, okay, and then direct shipping to you, to German, to your door. Interesting. How long does it take? Are they items new or used? What if items damaged? We offer a refund, replacement, blah, blah. Happy customers. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool. I'd try to get a couple more testimonials on this. And are you looking into got it. Login gives you full functionality, so that's good. And are you? What was the other thing I was going to try to think here? So, you know what would be nice is if there's a browse. So see here, you have like popular categories. This is great, but it kind of forces me. Like if you notice, I came to this and I was like, like what do I search for? Okay. Oh, geez, I'm going crazy here. What I like about the, I'm sure you know Facebook Marketplace, obviously. What I like about Facebook Marketplace is I could just browse. Okay, I don't know what I want until I see it, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just here and I'm just kind of just browsing for stuff, and I do this all the time. I just come on Facebook Marketplace and I literally just browse for stuff. I put it in my area or whatever. So giving them a browse, because your interface is actually already really well done. So giving them a browse capability, I request login because I need the emails. Yeah. No, that's understandable. Yeah. So this still applies. You could give them. So you want to give them a teaser, right? So maybe the first 6 you allow them to browse, and then you show them a whole bunch of these, but you show members only, right? So that you can kind of tease them into getting more. So you don't worry. You can still get email addresses, which is obviously the goal. So I would even go so far as to say BMW, for example, that like you've given almost too much here. Okay, because if the goal is to get them to sign up with a one click, right? I would show like the first 3, and then maybe these ones here, right? Members only. It's something a call to action that forces you into clicking. You could do it 2 ways. You could do it this way, or you could do it the other way, right? But you give them something and then basically push them into which is exactly what you're doing. I was just kind of proposing a slightly different way, just to be clear. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. It's actually really well done. But I would definitely do the browse for sure, because I think it would add an extra element where I could just randomly see stuff around on the website. But this is good, man. This is good. And do you have in the back end like a way to track do you have any tracking codes and stuff like that? Is that a thing in the background? Yeah. Filter more serious customers. In that way I can also filter. 100%. You could filter the serious customers from the bad one. Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. I'm happy to kind of geek. I love doing this sort of live, and I think I'm gonna try to do this more often, by the way, guys, so that we could just learn from each other. I'm supposed to do more of this in the school community. I haven't been doing it, but what I'll do is I'll take some of these and then drop them into the school community as their own little thing for you guys. So yeah, anyway, listen, I hope you guys have gotten some value out of my rants on these Friday calls. If you haven't joined the school community already, please join the school community. Where is it? Let me see. In the back end, I see what customers search for as well. Yes, 100%, because that stats is going to go good to kind of giving people different recommendations and that kind of stuff. So that's fantastic. And is this on Cloudflare? Where is this running? I'm just curious. Where is this running? Is this hang on, my brain is a blur on which username this is. So AI Studio, Google Cloud. Okay, yeah, no problem. We don't have any problem with Google Cloud here. And so the only way so what's your business model? The only way that you make money is a percentage of the transaction. Just curious. You're welcome, Sad. Oh my goodness, I'm butchering everybody's name. Okay, but you're welcome, Sadia. I think it is. Appreciate it. No problem. Yeah. So listen, Paul worked from home. That's laughing at me. The price you see when you search has a markup. Okay, got you. Interesting. Okay, so you're doing it. Great. And then how do you deal with customs clearance and stuff like that? Are you like, I correct my ignorance here, but like in Antigua where I was wasn't born, but that's where I grew up. The custom is all over the place, so it's hard to kind of predict that. Like, is it your markup plus their customs, or like do you deal with that kind of stuff? The original listing is some percentage lower. Got you. Yeah. Okay. So this is very interesting. So, and if you're clearing it for them, I use a third party logistics service for customs and shipping. Got it. Interesting. Okay, they kind of deal with that. They try to be transparent on the pricing. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I like the idea. So anything I would add to this, if you, I'm sure you're thinking about this, so I'm just throwing this out just as the last thing here, is being able to keep track of all the documents. So like, you can just come to this place and buy whatever product it is, and that's it. Maybe it's a one-time thing. But what I would encourage you to do is have repeat customers. And the way to think about that is, there's the people that are going to just come to your service and do one-off purchase. And then you're going to have a subset, a smaller set, 20%, 10%, that is going to be repeat customers. And those repeat customers, your backend portal will allow them to keep track of their documents, because everybody loses their documents all the time. So obviously they could download it, but it's going to keep track of their documents. And then obviously tracking, you already got that thought process already. But more importantly, if they become long-term customers, they get a discount on purchases. So you just, obviously you have a markup, but you could show a discount. And the discount, because they could become a member. And this way you could kind of like have like sort of like a membership subscription, almost like Amazon. Right? Amazon does this, where there's a subset of customers that they just keep buying stuff over and over. So as a result of that, they get cheaper or lower prices by just getting a membership. So that would be a way to kind of tier the system, and you end up making more money in the future because you're actually providing them a portal that they could keep track of all their orders and their shipments and all that type of stuff in your backend. But at the same time, they get a discount for being sort of those VIP members, right? Or VIP shoppers, if you will, right? Subscription is a great idea. I didn't think of that, but yeah, no, great, man. I'm happy to hear. So yeah, join the school community, keep the feedback. Let me know how it goes. Keep me posted on sort of the journey. And yeah, I'm happy to give some tips or ideas on how we could improve this. But kudos to you, and thanks for sharing your website today. That was very, very nice. Yeah. So, and for teaching me about Ghana and their currency. So yeah. Anyway, guys, listen, it's been a pleasure as always. I gotta now debrief, and then I gotta go pick up my kid. It's on a Friday afternoon, which is always the hardest thing coming off of these lives and having to deal with a toddler. It's like, oh. But yes, it's always been a blast. Thank you for everybody that hang out with me every Friday. We're here from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Today we're a little bit late, but nevertheless, we're here, okay, on a Friday. So thank you again for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next week again. And stay safe out there, okay? All right, bye-bye. And finish. And